My colleague Allister D'Souza has been tracking the latest developments in Washington D.C. for us. He joins us live at the moment. Allister, as you've been reporting, 2 black boxes have been recovered, and also now the staffing at air traffic control is coming into question. Take us through what all we know so far.
Let's talk about that. Those 2 black boxes that have been recovered, Parmeshwar, as we've been saying, media reports actually confirming that those black boxes from the jet have been recovered. One belongs to would be about the cockpit voice recorder. The other collects the data. So the data recorder, 2 sets of black boxes recovered from that American Airlines jet at this point in time. Now, the big question is, what are we going to hear as far as details that come through? What details do we get as far as what was said in the cockpit moments before that crash? Also, what details do we get in terms of flying altitude and other things that would come through? Now, ordinarily, this might not take long. It could take a few hours for authorities to crack this, to get into those black boxes and get that data out to give us an understanding of what potentially happened. But that may not actually be the case. It might be weeks before we actually hear from authorities. Also, one must remember that as far as these black boxes go, we also don't know if they may have potentially been damaged in the explosion. Also, of course, those black boxes are made to withstand a lot of impact. So hopefully in this case, things stay intact and authorities are able to access that. But that would be one of the questions that we'll be waiting to hear as to how good if the black boxes have been compromised by any way in terms of the impact and damage. So lots going to be coming out in the next few days as far as what details we would be able to recover from those 2 black boxes that have been recovered now a few hours ago here in Washington, D.C.
Allister, also President Trump has slammed the former administration, Biden's administration. Some are now blaming him for the crash.
Yeah, so in a press conference, President Trump actually went out and blamed President Obama and President Biden for certain initiatives that they put into place. This whole diversity issue, DEI, is a big hot button issue here in the United States. Just a few days ago, after he was sworn in as President of the United States for the 2nd time. That was one of those executive orders that he went down on, deciding that none of these diversity initiatives in government programs should continue. They should be immediately seized. And for some reason, President Trump had decided during this press conference that he's going to tie the fact that these diversity initiatives are in place in various government officials, in places like airports and government jobs or in federal jobs, that somehow this crash was tied to that, kind of alluding that there was potentially some compromise in terms of the competency of air traffic controllers who were on duty at that point in time, and therefore a potential error on their part that led to this crash. But at the same time, that same press conference, he then went on to cast blame on the pilots of the helicopter and the aircraft, and then he went back again to blame Biden and Obama for their initiatives as far as diversity goes. So this is something that many people say has been politicized, something that he really shouldn't have been talking about at this point in time. And this is not new. Very quickly, Parmeshwar, last month when we saw that terror attack in New Orleans, Trump was quick to say that had something to do with migrants, when actually the perpetrator of the attack was born here in the United States.
Allister,